Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. Good morning to my fellow Zambians and all the listeners globally.
All right, so this is the first time that you are appearing on our show this morning, and Molly and I thought so that we just get to know who you are. So first of all, our first question is, who is Mr. MUDOLO?
Thank you very much. MUDOLO is an entrepreneur, a Zambian, not a dual, and MUDOLO has no dual citizenship. I just want to make this very clear because there's some misconceptions around this. And MUDOLO was born on the Copper Belt in Furira in particular. And MUDOLO moved to the village in Sami where he grew up. And I went to Sami Primary School from grade 1 to 7. And I went to Mlekatembo Secondary School. Then it used to be called Mlekatembo Basic from grade 8 to 9, sorry. And I went to Soccer Boys from grade 10 to 12. And I went to do my first studies at Nyeki Business School. And after that, I did my studies at the University of Salford, Manchester, and London. And my other degree from University of Cumbria, where that is my MBA in Finance and Sustainability. Then I did also another MBA with Harriet Watt University under the Edinburgh Business School as a constituent of Harriet Watt University. And currently I'm a PhD student. And I've done several studies specializing in private equity. And I'm an entrepreneur who currently is based in South Africa, but I still have my strong presence in Zambia, and I've always been in Zambia. So that is what about MUDOLO. And in summary, that's what I would say about myself.
All right. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Thank you.
All right. So, what has prompted you, or what led you decision to want to think about or decide to join the political arena and want to serve Zambia?
Rachel, thank you very much. For those who listened to my first podcast, I think I did indicate that my political journey has not started today. It is something that I started when I was a toddler. So I've been preparing for the country. I've been looking at what has been going on. I think I indicated in my first podcast that I've done a review from 1964 to 1991, and I did another review from 1991 to 2011, from 2011 to date. Why I'm stepping forward? I have been preparing for the country. To prepare in terms of what can we do to have a better Zambia. So I have designed solutions. We have designed solutions because I've worked with my team. Let me use the word we, because it's not something, any change and development or transformation is something that is inclusive. It takes a lot of components, expertise, and people to come together. So I've been working on this journey with others together. We have extensively dived into our country's issues and discovered several issues which I think has led to where we are now. I think all of us, we have to admit that the economy is now in a situation where it requires urgent interventions to be put in place, and this is basically changing the leadership. But one thing that I would like to stress is that it is not all about changing the leadership. It's about getting to understand what is the preparation behind any intention to think of, being a president of Zambia. So I have prepared. And when I say I've prepared, I'm not saying I've done this in isolation. We have prepared, but I've been leading the preparations in terms of getting to understand what do we do across various sectors. I think we all understand that Zambia, we have been very much dependent on copper exports. And that has put us in a very, very difficult position that we have issues of rising public debt, which cannot be managed. The restructuring, I think we noticed that there was a problem there. So we have come up with a mechanism which is going to deal with ensuring that young men and women begin to lead the transformation of our country. We make sure that we have financing institutions that will provide capital to make sure that we begin to generate domestic surpluses. We have people, I think, which you know very well, that there are several young people who are very much committed to ensure that, they participate in the transformation of our country. But these are marketeers, these are business people. We have the huge diaspora, Zambians who are in diaspora who have gone to good schools, but when they come back home, these are people who have the knowledge, the expertise, Rachel, that they can drive certain business initiatives for a better Zambia. But these are people who do not have access to capital. So we have designed a program which we are going to have a network of development financial institutions. And this is something that I would like to clarify and maybe substantiate my position. What I mean is that we have a program which is going to make sure that we finance the young people, and the young people who are going to be, we want to produce the Bill Gates of Zambia. We want to produce the Elon Musk of Zambia. And the only way we're going to do is to make sure that we bring all the Zambians who are in diaspora, those they have got our expertise, they have learned. When you are in Zambia and you do not go out, and which a lot of people, they'll say, MUDOLO is just coming in, he has been out of Zambia. It is from there where I discovered that there are certain things that can be done properly. We can develop our country, but we need to have a financing mechanism that we will support entrepreneurs. We can bring the diaspora, these people who get to understand that things is possible, the change is possible. When we have these old people who have been recycled in all governments, from the first regime to the current regime, what do you expect, Rachel, that these people will bring change? They cannot bring any change because their mind, they believe certain things cannot be done. We have designed a program where we're going to have, institutions that can be able to provide risk capital. Risk capital where we will look at the entrepreneurs from the lower end of, like those marketeers and all that. And then we look at the high impact entrepreneurs. These are entrepreneurs. We have people like in diaspora who we can finance, or they can come back to Zambia. We give them, programs. They have business plans, but they cannot access capital. We finance these entrepreneurs. These are the entrepreneurs who begin now to scale up the economy. And we ensure that whilst we develop the economy, we still make sure that we have these other entrepreneurs, because what happens in every transformation, we have to ensure that there are these businessmen and women who do small deals in order for them to, they are trading for them to survive. But we cannot completely flush them out and ignore and look at only, those who can have a capacity to go and borrow from commercial banks. Commercial banks will never support the development of any country because they look at risk. Can they provide, financing to someone who has just graduated from University of Zambia, University of Lusaka, and immediately wants to get into business? They are going to look at this person as a high risk. So commercial banks cannot actually provide that support. So what do we do as a government? What we plan, in our plan, we have a program where we will make sure that we bring in the venture capital financing The venture capital financing takes deals which has got high risk, because I'll give you an example. If you say, I'm going to build a hotel maybe in a village in Chisari, for example, the commercial bank, they're going to look at that to say, look, Chisari is just developing. What is the potential that they will have people there to go and, in terms of customer, the occupancy rate and all such. But in venture capital, we look at to say, okay, there's so much potential in terms of growth and all that. So we'll say, okay, we give you maybe $2 million, go and build a hotel there. The venture capital, they will take maybe 20% of that, because they believe that they will look at high risk, investment deals. So what we have done, we have prepared to finance entrepreneurs, young men and women. It is young men and women who are going to drive the economic transformation later. And Zambians must understand that Zambia has got the diaspora who are very learned. We will have a network of financial or development financial institutions, and we bring in people with expertise. If it is going to take us, for us to hire people with expertise to come and lead these institutions and train the young people to understand the development financing mechanisms, that is what we are going to do. We're not going to get people from commercial banks to say, come and head these development financial institutions. We're not going to do that, because what they'll do is that they'll basically duplicate, they'll just copy and paste their risk metrics, and that is what then it defeats the purpose. So there's completely different issues here which we have to deal with. So I'm stepping forward because I've come to understand how the world functions. Zambia, we have the potential to mobilize our domestic resources and make sure that we have a network of development financial institutions. These are the institutions which are going to provide high-risk capital to small businesses. We provide capital to marketeers. Marketeers, especially men and women. How do we capacitate women who are in business? We know very well that not everybody is going to be doing business that would drive the prosperity of the country. But we have also, as a government, has got a responsibility to make sure that the businesses, those which they need to survive, we have to look for the capital that we keep them there. We know very well that they're not going to do business that would really usher in transformation, but we have to keep them there to survive. They must be able to trade. They must have access to capital. When we talk of agriculture, how do we finance the mechanization of agriculture? So these are young people that we want to finance. We have to understand that it is young people who are going to, out of these young people, you can imagine the issue, the time that Bill Gates started, the time that Elon Musk started. If Elon Musk comes from South Africa, I'll give you an example. If he was in South Africa, you wouldn't have had Elon Musk, but he went into the market which supports growth, which has got a mechanism that provides high-risk capital. And that is a capital that, that helped people like Elon Musk thrive. So we want to produce the Elon Musk of Zambia, and these are young people that we have to get from universities. We get these people who are traders from the markets. We capacitate them, give them skills. So that is the reason why I've decided to step forward, because we have assembled programs. We have initiatives that is going to help women in the markets to maintain and survive and do better, contribute. Then we are going to have young people who are going to be financed to run most of the programs, most of the businesses in Zambia. We localize the programs that would generate surpluses. The most important thing, even the reason why we have issues of managing the public debt, is because we cannot diversify. Diversifying is the solution for the country to prosper. Diversifying is the solution for the government to manage its obligations in terms of public debt. So right now, the government might say, we are creating jobs. How do you create jobs? They say, okay, we have employed 40,000 teachers. But these teachers are teachers who are getting 5,000, and the police officers, they are getting 3,000, 4,000. How do you expect when the consumer price index, you see very well for a family to survive, they need to have about 11,000 kwacha. How do you expect these people to survive? How do you deal with the issues that now, how do you deal with corruption? You cannot talk of development of a country when the civil service is frustrated. So I'm coming with a program. With my team, we have come with a program where we ensure that we will mobilize domestic financial resources domestically, empower the young people to get into the businesses that will now contribute to the prosperity of the country. Zambia is not lacking the capacity in terms of the human capital, but we have also to have a mechanism where we motivate the civil service. The civil servants, the way it is right now, you do not expect them not to be compromised. You have a mother, you have a father who is at work, and children are not in school. They have no food at home. Their salary, when it comes, they can't even see it. They are indebted, and they cannot even think properly as to what is their future. So these are the issues which we have dealt with in our planning.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Hi, Rachel.
Right now, I think the biggest challenge that the country faces is in the sector, and the biggest complaint right now on the lips of almost Zambian is the issue of load shedding. Do you have any plans in your plans with your team to work on that? And also riding on that, you to have said you are going, in one of the tabloids recently, to have said that you are going to come and fix the nation. Does that include the energy sector as well? And what are your plans?
Rachel? Rachel, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right. So, can I go on, please? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I can continue. I'm struggling to hear Rachel for some reasons. Rachel, can I continue?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Rachel, the reason why I'm stepping forward, look, we have looked at the entire government mechanism thoroughly from inception and to where we are going. So I'm making it very clear that I'm coming with a contribution to lead, and this contribution is on the basis of what is going to take our country into prosperity. And not only that, we will develop a mechanism that will make our Zambia prosperous. Zambia will become prosperous, and then it will trickle to several other African countries. So basically what I'm saying is that we have programs that is going to motivate the civil service. We need to pay civil service very well. If we are to deal with issues of corruption, we are to make sure that the country prospers, we must make sure, Rachel, that we have a mechanism where the civil service is well incentivized, the civil service is well paid. We must have the government that is driven by the young people. We need to have ministers, Rachel, who believe that things can be done differently. We have to have, the entire government machinery, the administration of the government. It has to have young people who believes that things can be done differently and we can achieve the transformation. Right now, if you speak to someone who is in the Ministry of Finance, and this person has been there, all the governments, these are all people who have been there, they do not believe that we can actually mobilize, the risk capital that would finance opportunities within Zambia, and that would make sure that the young people begin to drive the economy, creating jobs, diversifying the economy, and several other initiatives that we have put in place. So what we are saying, why I'm coming through and stepping forward is that we have the programs which the young people are going to be the ones to drive the government initiatives. We will make sure that the teachers, the entire civil service are well paid. In all the government ministries, they are well paid. That is the only way we are going to deal with the issues of corruption. That is the only way we are going to develop the country, because when you have a very frustrated civil service, you have people who are hungry, People, when they're at work, they can't even think properly. They have got issues. You do not expect those people to put in more effort to drive the programs. It's not like, it is not magic. It's not rocket science. So we have assembled the programs. The young people are going to be funded. The entrepreneurs will be funded. We are going to have a network of development financing institutions, which is going to work, of course. It is completely a new structure of a financing mechanism, completely different from the current financing sector and its reforms. Because right now, people, they can go to the bank. If people... Highlighter? If right now, later...
the programs or the benefits of the programs being felt by the ordinary Zambian, because there are some stakeholders who have said the country is reporting positive economic growth, but when it trickles down to the ordinary Zambian, the ordinary Zambian is complaining that those benefits are going to be felt by even the person at the lowest tax bracket.
The economy, as I've said, the economy can grow in terms of the GDP, but it is not a direct interpretation that it has a real impact to the grassroots or the ordinary person. So right now, yes, the government may celebrate to say we have achieved some growth, but if you look at our Gini index, it is high. It means the money, it is just in few families. So that is a very clear indication that much has to be done. Our programs will deal with ensuring that the marketeers in the villages, they have got access to capital to do business. And also we are taking industries to them, industrialization framework, which is now going to create diversification. I did indicate in my previous podcast that the agriculture mechanization is, we are going to ensure that the agro-processing hubs will be in those respective provinces. People should feel the real value, and also the wealth trickles to the people, because they are the ones that we bring them into the supply chain. We make sure that even all the people that participate into in our business framework, the government participates to ensure that these people have been provided with a mechanism to access capital. Right now, if you bring in, if you go to the bank right now, Rachel, yourself, to say you want to secure 500,000 kwacha, for example, you are not going to be given. They will look at you to say, what collateral do you have? What is your capacity to pay back? So we are bringing in, you know, the capital, the financing institutions. These are development financial institutions, which will have each development financial institution focusing on specific sectors. So it will be a network of development financial institutions which will fund the small businesses, which will fund marketeers, which will make sure that we fund the ordinary person in the village who wants to do business. But one thing which I would like to stress as a point here is that in our framework, Zambians, the young people, we will be financed. We will give them the skills. Our development financial institutions, we are not going to get people who are managing the commercial banks in Zambia today to come and run these institutions. Why? Because they do not have any clue. They are going to bring in what they do in commercial banks. We are going to bring in a completely different structure. People, we have Zambians who are in diaspora who have got the capacity to manage these financial institutions. We will train people from universities, the young people from the universities, come and lead this so that they can come in completely with a new mindset, with a new knowledge, which you do not want to have people who believe that certain things cannot be done. There's innovation that is there. There's, you know, I listened to some of the concerns of some people in my previous podcast, where people do not believe that we can bring in the 15 billion. They're saying because our GDP is 30 billion, and how can you bring more money than the GDP, the size of the country's GDP? They do not understand. We will make sure that Zambia becomes a financial hub, so that it can attract global capital.
Not to cut you short, sir.
Yeah.
We have heard
Aisha.
about the plans that you have for the country, for Zambia now. I would like us to talk a little more, or also to touch and talk about the fight against corruption in Zambia. How do you think that's being undertaken?
Thank you, Rachel. Rachel, one thing I would like to mention here, and to everyone who is listening, an empty stomach has no knowledge of a jail. You should know that. So how do you deal with the issues of corruption? It doesn't matter the laws that would be implemented. Even if you were to implement to say there will be death sentence to those who get involved in corruption, how many people are you going to kill or incarcerate in that fashion? So the medicine here, which is the solution, is to make sure that we remunerate the civil servants so that they do not get tempted in very trivial issues of corruption. We have to look after the people well. The civil servants must be well paid, and we make sure that the country functions in a way that people are motivated. They have no reason to engage in corrupt activities. You have men and women in uniform, police officers standing by the roadside. These are people who are paid 2,500 to 3,000. The whole month they have got commitment to the family. They have to pay for education of their children. They have to feed their families. And in Africa, you know, when you're a breadwinner, you have got maybe 15, 16, 20 people that you look after. And how do you expect these people not to engage themselves in corrupt activities? So the only way we are going to deal with is to, yes, we are going to enforce the law in terms of governance issues. We will make sure that we deal with the issues that is the major cause of corruption. I'll give you a very good example, Rachel. In my previous podcast, I did mention the issues of the perceived corruption, okay? The Canona issue. Why do you have people, there was, let me just make it very clear. ZESCO formed a company called Kiona Energy. And this company was to do a deal between Mozambique and the Zambian government, through ZESCO, of course. But the thing is, they went on to form Canona Energy. What does that mean? Because people, they find ways and means of how do they get money, you know, for their own benefit. So in our government, God willing, we will make sure that such loopholes in governance and such loopholes are not there, because we make sure that these people are well remunerated and they are not tempted to engage into that. But this is a responsibility of the government. So how we will deal with corruption issues, we will make sure that the teachers and the entire civil service are well paid, and we will ensure that we enforce the law on the basis that we have provided a solution. We say, Rachel, you have no reason for you to engage in corruption. We pay you well. We look after your children very well as a government. We look after all your affairs as a government. You are not hungry. You have no reason to engage in corruption. When we find you engaging in corruption, we enforce the law. The might of law will now be on you because you have no reason. But one thing I would say, we are not going to engage in activity in an administration where we starve people, we create temptations of the people to engage in corruption, and then we take them to prison. We enforce the law. No, first step is for us to look after the people. We pay them well, and we do not see a reason why someone should engage in corruption. So the opportunities that we will put in place is to ensure that we have a very thriving civil service that is well looked after, and we train people. So we will deal with that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, sir. So now looking at the time that you have, seeing to it that elections are going to be conducted on the 13th of August 2026, do you think that you have enough time to sell yourself?
Mr. Mudolo, can you hear us?
Hello?
Mr. Mudolo, are you able to hear us?
I was not able to get your question, please, if you may repeat the question.
Okay, we seem to be having an issue.
If you can repeat your question,
We're
please.
trying to resolve it right now, but the question that Tawana asked was, with just a few months to the 2026 polls, and these are slated to be held on the 13th of August 2026. Is Mr. Mudolo, or if you're able to hear us now, do you think you have sufficient time to sell yourself to the Zambian people?
Okay, so the question from Tagoma, yes, we do have enough time. This is something that I appeal to the young people, that it is time for you to lead the government programs. It is time for the young people to decide that we do not have enough time for us to usher in a government. So the time, yes, we do have. And that's the reason why you see that I'm trying to, and which of course I think we are finding each other. We, in the Patriotic Front, we are trying to make sure that we have already existing structures. We already have the people who have been following Patriotic Front, and all the structures are still there, even those which are not there. But of course we do understand the hesitation that people, they still remember certain things which went wrong during the Patriotic Front. But those are the things which we're addressing. I'm saying I'm coming in as a completely new, fresh person with fresh ideas. And not that necessarily new. I've been part of Patriotic Front, but I've not been in the administration, and I've not been part of whatever failed. So we have time. I appeal to every young person, because our government would have young people to lead the institutions. We are not going to recycle people who have been part of the institutions that failed. So the young people must rise to vote, and the voters' registration has opened up. I appeal to all people in the village, wherever you are, konsoko muli, konse mumishi monse, kabiyene mushite register, ukuvota, and mukese vota ba Mudolo, balesa nama programs which will transform the country. So we have enough time, just to answer the question for Tagoma, we have enough time. The preparations are ongoing, and I think we have enough time. We are not going to be, disseminating messages to people that are on the basis of critics. Yes, we are going to critic, but our messages is based on the actual outcomes and the solutions which people have been waiting. So I strongly believe that, the population of the young people in Zambia, they are, close to 60%. And we need these young people to rise in numbers to vote, rise in numbers to make a corrective decision. So we have enough time. Young people are eager to change the government. Young people are eager to work for their own country and make Zambia a better country for themselves and everyone. So yes, to answer that question, we have enough time. The preparations are ongoing, and I will be engaging my fellow young men and women, all the young people, once they Mr. Pella, rise to register now to vote. So time is now, and we must change the government. Not that we do not like the government which is in power, because the government that is in power now, the UPND government, has failed. You can see by yourself. There's a confirmation that this government has no plans. They have decided to be seeking praises from you people, that you praise them for their failure. And we are not going to ask... We are not going to ask anyone to praise us, but the work that we'll do will be able to speak to the Zambians that indeed this is a new administration which has come in with programs that are changing the lives of the Zambians. So that is what I have to say for now. Please make sure that you remove the UPND government out of power without hesitation. The country is in the economic intensive care unit, and we have to remove it out of it. It is our responsibility as Zambians to make sure that we usher in a government that will look at the affairs of people and the livelihood of the people, of the Zambian people. So yes, we have enough time, Rachel. We have enough time, Tagoma. We have enough time to remove the UPND government. And young people decide, rise the numbers, begin to think. You have the power to make our country a better country. Our administration, we will finance you. We will make sure that we provide capital that you need. We are not going to let you go to these commercial banks and then you are not well looked after. We will make sure that your plans, your programs, our venture capital financing initiatives, we will take care of that. And you will be able to drive our economy yourselves. The money, the prosperity of the Zambians is in the hands of the young people. We have examples of all countries which are prosperous. It is young people, when they were young, they had innovative thinking. They are able to think differently, and they believe in the change. We do not want people who, when you mention billions, they say, Tetfichitike, mwebena Zambia. Time is now, and we have time to remove the UPND government. Do not give them another chance, because they have failed, and there's nothing that's...
So while you're saying you have time, while you're saying you have time, you have time to remove the UPND government, how do you intend to mobilize, seeing that you are currently not in the country? How do you intend to mobilize support for your candidacy as well as your teams?
Lecho, yes, you may say I'm not in the country, but I'm very much in the country. I am very much in the country, and I will get on the ground to speak to my fellow young people for us to work together as a force to remove the UPND government. So I am getting on the ground. Anytime soon, my fellow Zambians, you'll see me getting to the trenches of politics, getting to our villages and speak to the people. But this is something that I'm calling upon you, young people. Let us move together as a team. Let us work together to remove this government. Zambia does not have another opportunity to remove this government. This is the opportunity to remove the government, and we are saying we are not coming in with promises. We are coming in with the actual programs which you young people will be able to finance you. You are not going to be queuing, going to these commercial banks where you are told to say, go and bring 3 years audited financials for you to secure capital. We are not going to do that. It is these young people, Lecho, that are going to make sure that we usher in the new economic transformation. So that is what we are going to do. We will make sure that all the university students, when they come out, they will immediately be integrated into a transformation agenda. That is what we are going to do. We are not going to let them go out there and doing nothing, but they will be provided with the capacity. They're going to be provided with capacity to make sure that, they are supported in whichever way. And these are people that we are passionate to integrate them into the development financial institutions. We are going to bring in international expertise, which some of these international expertise are from our own people, the Zambians who are in diaspora, to make sure that they come and learn in these institutions. We will mobilize capital to fund these financial institutions domestically. So we have time. I am there in Zambia. I am getting on the ground to work with my fellow young people to usher in the change. It is time that all of us, we have to look at things differently. It's not a person that you like, a person that is your friend. It's about who is coming with the programs that are going to transform our country. So let us...
As we conclude, Mr. MUDOLO.
Yes.
As we conclude...
there's a question that we have from Facebook that is saying, are you trafficked to be led, seeing that there are many others vying for the same position in the PF?
Okay, so I think the
if you can repeat that question,
are you ready to be led, seeing that you are not the only presidential hopeful in the Patriotic Front? There seem to be a number of people that are vying for the same position.
Thank you. I have never refused to be led, okay? I have been led to be led from the word go, but that comes with a condition. The same way, my dear friends, if you are a medical surgeon and then they bring a person who is maybe a nurse, yeah? They bring a person who is a nurse, but has got some knowledge of, medical field. Then they want the nurse to come and do the surgeon work on a patient. Truly speaking, would you accept yourself? So I am ready if I find someone who really understands the programs of transformation, someone who believes that domestically We can mobilize the billions to transform our country. Someone who understands that we have to diversify our economy to increase the net export earnings and to manage our public debt fairly. Someone who believes that we must make sure that we integrate all the young people in the supply chain, in the economy. We give them opportunity to fund them, to do businesses. We give them opportunity to train. We give them international exposure, which I have myself. So as long as I find such a type of a person who I know very well to say, I'm not going to be led by someone who does not understand anything, I am ready to be led. Yes, there's no problem. But as long as I find such, so this is the only condition. So because I'm now impatient to wait for another, 5 years for our country to usher in economic transformation. So the economic independence for our country is urgent. There's no longer time to wait, because when I say, I think you might have heard me in my previous podcast where I said we have to remove the UPND government because it is going to actually kill people. I didn't mean killing them as such. I mean you kill people when you do not, when children can start having malnutrition, when people cannot have food, when people can be killed because only one person in that community has got food, and people want to steal from this person and mag this person and kill and destroy this person. So it's a mechanism of that. So we want the economy that is going to protect the people, that is going to take care of the affairs of the people, and that is creating jobs, diversifying our economy. Diversification is the answer to the prosperity of every country. And that's what we are going to do. We have the mechanism, and I keep repeating this, we have the mechanism to bring in development financial institutions, which will be a network which has a component of the venture capital mechanism that funds these businesses, the young people who come out of university. We have maybe 200-300 university graduates who come out of university. Some of these people, they do not want to work. They have got brains, they have got ideas on how they can do business and participate in the economy. So we integrate them by financing them. We do not want them to go to commercial banks where they cannot secure capital.
All right,
they have
thank you.
Yeah, so that is the position. Yes, to answer the question, I just had to compliment you so you understand my position.